Peace to the gods. I'm beaming this light to all of those that can receive it and reflect it. All of my African people there in the Americas, in the Caribbean, in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, Oceania, all throughout the world where we are. I'm beaming this light to those that can receive it and reflect it. You already know what the fuck going on. This is Karmonic. Welcome back to me channel. And today I want to bring you all into another story time of how I became to be a African ancestral dancer. Now this is very vital because throughout my travels, you'll see me dancing so much. Now, it's important to know that me started dancing when I was first in the womb. I was dancing to the rhythm of the cosmos in my mother's womb. But when me was 10 to 12, I started dancing in middle school. I was in a pom squad. I was a cheerleader. And being a cheerleader, me was the only guy. I was the only brother. And I was dancing for, this basketball team with my brothers that was on the team. And so as a cheerleader, I would dance with the girls them. I even had a girlfriend on the team. And we would just hype up the crowd. We would hype up the crowd and just take it to extreme heights, right? Then I also started doing competitions when I was a youth as well. So dance competitions, I would train for those competitions. And I remember winning a competition, me and my team. And from there, I just thought of dancing as just something that I would just do for fun. But little did I know as a youth, this would be a practice that I would develop for my life, throughout my life. Now, I remember as well, dancing when me was a youth, I would have an Xbox Connect 360, and I would hook up the Xbox and I would play games like Dance Central, Just Dance. I remember Hip Hop Experience too, and I would just watch so many dancing videos, and I would just stay up all day, all night, dancing me ass off. This is when I knew, okay, this is something that I love. When I was dancing, I always had this passion. I felt so rejuvenated. I felt so boosted when I danced. I don't care. I would just commit myself to dancing whenever I could. And also I would make dancing videos. So I would get a camera, set up my phone. Back then, it would be these apps called Dub Smash, Triller, and I would just make dancing videos. I would do certain challenges. I would just dance, brother. I was in love with dance when I was a youth. I was in love. Now, throughout high school, I joined dance teams, but these dance teams weren't consistent. So me didn't really do a lot of dancing. The only time I did dance when we was at home making videos. So that's why I spent most of my time dancing. Now, when me was 21, brother, I went to my first African traditional dance class. My friend, beautiful friend, still to this day, she invited me. She said to me, I think you would like this. When me tell you, I went to the dance class. I stepped. So, okay, let me break this shit down. So I come to the door and I hear these drums. My spirit is activated and the ancestors is screaming inside of me. I said, Wagwan, what is this? And I see everybody dancing. I see the African professor, the dance teacher. She doing her thing and she teaching the students. And it's all black people, all African people. I rose in love. I said, this is where I'm supposed to be at. And so next thing you know, I took off my scarf. And, we joined the line and we started to dance. When we tell you the amount of passion and the amount of information that was pouring out of my spirit, my DNA was being unlocked. And this was the moment I would rise to become an African traditional ancestral dancer. this is the moment. From that moment, I would go to many different African drumming sessions. I would dance in those African drumming sessions, and I was so at peace. African dancing brought me peace. African dancing showed me our ancestors in the flesh. Because when we dance, we go into a state, you would say a trance. And in this trance state, this is a pure spirit state. And in this pure spirit state, you have access to memory. You have access to the cosmic natural forces that you can use to open portals, to channel ancient memory. And throughout this journey, during those times, I did the drumming sessions, and eventually I was going to do performances and train for them. But things happened in my life to where I couldn't. However, when I came to Costa Rica, I remember going to this party, and I seen these sisters dancing to Afrobeat, and they teaching Afrobeat. I said, me love this. And I get up on stage, hop up on stage. And from that moment, I started to teach dance classes at hostels, taught many different students. However, with me teaching all of these students, I was teaching devils. I was teaching these white people, these mutations. And it was looked at as entertainment, not something that was very sacred. And I was doing it for money. That's when I realized that, okay, our culture is sacred and I need to start taking this very seriously. So eventually I stopped teaching these dance classes. Now, I eventually started teaching African traditional dance classes at a Liberty Hall, a Marcus Garvey Center. And, I'm teaching these traditional dance classes. It's beautiful. And this is me taking a step into learning more about our African culture and deepening my practice. Now, I also started doing performances throughout Costa Rica, something I've never did before. Meeting different artists, being up on many different stages, doing so many different dances. And this when I realized that this is something that is going to be a lifetime thing. And now I take it seriously. And this is how I become an African ancestral dancer. My life, ever since I was a youth, I've always danced. But me didn't know what I had in store for the future to come. This is why when I'm traveling the world, I'm going to learn our African ancestral dances, our traditions, because dancing is not just dancing. Dancing is a sacred act. Our African dancing is the source of creation. Our African dance holds memory, and this memory is a conduit for the ancestors to beam through us information that we need to use for certain moments in time. African dancing, we have so many dances. A dancing for the seasons, a dancing for the earth, a dance for the water, a dance for the sky, a dance for the wind, a dance for the fire, a dance for war, a dance for community, a dance for healing, a dance for spiritual cleansing, rituals, ceremonies, rites of passages. I've realized that my journey is about learning our culture as African people and using our culture to help liberate us. Because there was a point in time when these devils tried to rip the African out of us. Being African one point in time was demonized. We were killed for being African. Our languages, our bodies, our spiritual practices, our songs, our names were demonized. And now everybody, these other races, these mutations, like our culture, like to practice our culture, even the drumming. The drumming was banned. The drumming was a tool for rebellion. The drumming was a tool to activate the dormant spirit in us as African people, the warrior spirit. And they banned that, these devils, because they knew that we would tear their heads off. This is why I'm against teaching other races, and I will not do that shit again. Now I'm committed to only teaching African people and African people only. Because this is why you see so much integration with African culture and African people with many other races. African people, first of all, still are psychologically enslaved. So they feel that they have to welcome in everybody to resist being killed, to resist confrontation, to resist conflict. Because when there is a true African space, when a true congregation is formed, that's a threat to the world masses, all these other races. Because us together as African people is powerful. That's why when we congregated as African people in the past, slavery times, this was banned, this was forbidden. Because now we're talking about rebellion. Now we're talking about rising up. Now we're talking about taking back our freedom. Now we're talking about practicing our ancient sacred sciences to help activate our ancestral self. And this is why my culture is so important to me. And this is why I take this serious. And this is why we as African people must take this serious, because this is our survival. This is how we survive. And this is how the ancestors stay alive. So me traveling the whole earth, learning our dances, learning our traditions, and documenting these to help preserve the memory of us as African people, to create anew. Everything that I do will be for the ancestors, because I am the ancestor that came back in this moment in time to help fulfill the mission that has been prophesied since eons ago. And now we're in that time of prophecy. And through our culture as African people, that is how we will win, because we have already won the war. That's my story of how I became an African ancestral dancer. And now I'm committed to doing many performances about our African dances and just sharing with you all the depth of dances and musical genres that are in our culture. Peace to the gods. I'm beaming this light to all of those that can receive it and reflect it throughout the world of my African people. If you like this video, give it a like, comment what you think about the video, subscribe so all of our people them can see this, because we need to get this out to all of my African people, because we got some traveling to do and I got some things to show y'all. So you done know, big up yourself, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.